Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. JJ Kelly, the punk rock doc, and you are here for Throw Up Thursday, where you come barf your problems and then you leave feeling better. We are on location today in Sonoma. Now I'm at the Jenks building in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Hi.
Hi, I missed. Where are you? Where's that funky ceiling?
I know. We call this the NASCAR room. Um,
Oh,
I am in my brother's studio in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, and move, please. I'm writing my book, so I got all the craziness happening here. But I want to
cool.
also Sam's paintings are in here.
Oh,
And look at this one. Oh
ooh.
my gosh, look at this one.
Oh, I love that.
So
That's
he had
so
his show
pretty.
here. She loves it, Sam.
So cool. I love all the blues. It's so like calming. It
Yeah,
feels like it
that
kind of
one
sucks you
especially.
into it too. Like I could stare at that for a very long time.
I agree. This is the one I like to stare at.
Oh, whoa. Oh, that's so cool.
What? Wait, how do I turn? There. Jesus Christ.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, how are you, Olivia?
I'm great. Loving
Good.
the sunny day. I went to San Francisco on a whim with my mom and got to see some friends safely and enjoy the
Oh,
sunshine and the clear skies, and it was so nice.
oh,
It's
that's
really
lovely. What's the
good.
temp there?
Oh, it was like hot in the sun. It was like it felt like I mean, I'm wearing a turtleneck, but I was
Right.
felt like a nice little sun hug.
Oh, that's lovely. Good for you. Nice self-care, dude.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, what have we this
We
evening? It's
have
evening
some
for me.
questions three. Actually, we have more than three questions, but I liked the rhyme.
All right.
Um,
I like rhyming too.
so we have some questions. The first one is
Yes.
from a fellow doc Astrid.
Okay.
Okay, so they
Hi,
say,
Astrid.
um, this is definitely a question I kind of have the answer to. But do you have advice for starting big projects that are really scary and new, slash a lot of different skills that I need to learn? Especially not biting off more than I can chew and making sure I balance time for the project with time for school and work and sleep.
Whoa. You can hear the anxious perseveration in the question.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think that Astrid answered it within the question,
Mm-hmm.
as per usual with Astrid, as we know. Um, but that piece about what did she say? It's like, I mean, time management, yeah, but did she actually say the words "bite off more than I can chew"? That's what I'm latching on to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like bite-sized pieces, Astrid,
Mm-hmm.
one step at a time. Like th- like that one's particularly stressful because it sounds like she has a bunch of shit she has to learn, like that's brand new in order to complete which what is already kind of a big project.
Mm-hmm.
So, yikes. Oh my gosh, it's so easy to get overwhelmed. And the only way, as you know, and
Mm-hmm.
Astrid knows, to get out from under that is to make the pieces manageably smaller,
Mm-hmm.
even tiny, so that they're like, wow, why did I even make that so small? That was so easy. That's what you want.
Exactly.
Ideally, that's how you do it so that you can
Mm-hmm.
just plow through the first five. It's like Google Maps, like that whole thing. I can get out of my own neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need those first five.
Mm-hmm.
but, but I think that, my gosh, Astrid is the queen of this kind of thing, too. So I have every confidence. However, plowing through and ignoring anxiety or like just whipping yourself on, that's what I think she's in danger of
Mm-hmm.
doing, is not giving herself credit for those bite-sized pieces and only future tripping about how much more there is to do. That will overwhelm and kill motivation like no other.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Definitely.
Astrid knows that. Do you want to add something, hon?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking I can validate and relate to the like fear of learning a bunch of new stuff, whenever I've
Oh, hell
started a new job. And I had this earlier this week of like the logistics and the fact that I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I get like this, oh God, I'm not going to know what to do. And then I have that feeling I'm able to remind myself like, of course, like, and you're going to learn. And like the next day, you'll know more than you knew the day before. And when you're starting a new job and learning new skills, of course you're not going to know how
yeah.
to do everything. Like, of
Yes.
course. And
Yes.
then you learn it. And that's kind of like a choice point to beginner mind. Yeah. And
I
also
was
to like,
thinking radical acceptance that you're
yeah, and
going to
to not let
suck
the
at
ego get
first.
into it of
That's
being like,
right.
oh, I'm going to be amazing at this right when I start it, which is
That's
like,
right.
of course not, because you're starting from zero and you're going to work your way up.
Nice. Nice. Yes.
Hmm.
See, we got docs on here. Yeah. We got validation from Allie. We got beginner mind from Megan. I love that beginner mind just came from Megan, by the way, who has just relearned beginner mind very recently. So it's probably quite fresh for Mama Megan.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
all
guys
gotta
for the
relearn
comments.
these things
Oh
over
my
and over
gosh.
again.
And with it's the time that we think, oh, I already learned that we're most in danger of not
Mm-hmm.
doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny how
Definitely.
certainty fucks us over every time.
You're like,
Oh
oh,
my
I've done
god.
it so many times I can just do it without thinking. It's like, no.
Totally. Totally. Nice. That's a great question because everything,
Yeah.
damn near everything's overwhelming now during
Mm-hmm.
COVID. Like shit that wasn't even like a biggie before this is like,
Yeah.
oh, we are
And I
just so ready for overwhelm.
Yeah, and I think I've noticed that my feathers get ruffled a lot more if there's like a new thing or if something isn't, if I'm not able to like predict how it's gonna go, because I'm
You
so
listen to
often
what you're
just,
saying.
I know, no, I know it's ridiculous, but I'm just
Yep.
like, like, ooh, what? Like
Yeah.
one little thing doesn't go in my plan because
Yep.
everything is so like familiar now since I'm
Yeah.
spending so much time in my house doing the same thing. So one thing is like out of the line. It's like, oh God, which is,
Dude, I
you
am
know.
hearing that kind of thing a lot, though. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
have an awareness about it, so that's great, and we can laugh
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are not laughing, doing the same
Mm-mm.
shit. And
No.
and again, I mean, I say it every week in every interview and live that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Hold the bar down. Take the pressure off of yourself. Cut your productivity task list in half.
Yeah.
Just cool out a little. Remember, it's winter too, so it's kind of hibernation-y rest time a
Mm-hmm.
little
We
bit.
got 6 more weeks, says the groundhog. So.
Right. And April is the cruelest month. I am not looking forward to that. I mean, I'm
Oh my
lucky enough
God.
to work with you all. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, the April people are going to lose their damn
Yeah.
minds.
And for me, it's like February, March, April. So I'm bracing myself for the.
February, March, April. For me, it's a quarter of the year.
For me,
So,
it's just
I'm bracing
like
myself.
every 12 months of the year, I always got a little something going on. Um,
Totally, totally.
but
Hey,
I think,
Astrid.
hey, I think it's so, I don't know, there's something like kind of sweet about it too. I'm trying to like connect with this compassionate of myself of being like, oh, buddy, like I'm having a hard time, and so
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little bit more stressed out, and like, oh,
Yes.
that's sweet, and
I
it's
love that.
funny, and like I got this. I'm trying to do the like I and not the
Dude,
we,
you're a
but
total role model. Seriously.
yeah.
Like, you just modeled for everyone on this live exactly what will make their life better.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Just
so
being like,
proud of all y'all.
oh, just doing that a lot in the mirror, going like, oh,
Oh,
sweetie, oh my gosh, I'm scared. Oh no.
that
But not
is
even,
so darling. And most people will not do that level of vulnerability or
Hmm.
like or silliness.
Yeah.
And clearly it's working for you.
Hmm.
Oh, Megan, sleeping with a stuffed animal. Hey, I am so with you. Sleep with
I
the
love
damn
that.
stuffed animal. Yes. Yes.
Me
Did I
too.
tell you guys that I that I bought one of those Moon Pals. So embarrassing. It's like, it's like, it's like, it's like one of those gravity blankets, but it's a stuffy. And the
Oh.
weight in its body and long arms that wrap around you is embarrassingly the shit. I mean,
Oh,
oh my gosh, it's the greatest. If I were at home right now, I would show you.
that
Remind me, I will show you.
I want that.
Beautiful.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that might be my Valentine's Day present to myself.
Oh my God, that's also a very good idea, Olivia. Jeez. Yes, Moon Pals, they're called. I don't know, moonpal.com. Try that. I got no idea. Don't ask me. Don't
Sponsor
ask
us, Moon
me.
Pals, please.
Yes, internet technology questions. Hello, and we did.
Um, cool. So I have a question that is kind of in a similar vein.
Okay.
So this is more of a preemptive question, but I was wondering, to help distinguish between pride and ego. So for
Mm,
my example is that, I've started doing work and I'm feeling really proud of myself and enjoying it. And
Ellie.
this could be like a gremlin thing of being like, oh, you're getting full of yourself. But I think sometimes there's a tendency, I don't know, I'm just worried that I'm going to go into inflating my ego about like helping this kid learn how to read and turn something of being like proud of myself and happy into like something icky.
Has that happened yet?
I don't think so, but I just was wondering how to distinguish between those two or like the
Well,
line.
I would need a live example for that.
Okay.
Has that? First of all, that sounds like so dumb. Like, dude, like, yes, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
since when are you in fucking danger of an inflated ego? Like, if anything, we are really, really deprived of
Hmm.
celebrating our wins. That's why we always
Hmm.
talk about it in our group. Yes,
Yeah.
rounding yourself with a celebration. Yes, Allie's
Hmm.
dead on there. Like, and thank you. Yes, sponsor us, Moon Pals. Yeah, Allie, level your heads out. But okay, the part I can get with, to
Hmm.
gun to the head kind of thing, because I'm not with this, um, is that you're trying to, when you started this job with the kid and you were like, your worries were of the nature of, will the kid like me?
Hmm.
That has a narcy quality to it,
Hmm.
an ego piece.
Hmm.
And we laughed about that
Hmm.
because that would never even cross my mind. I'd be like,
Hmm.
is this kid going to mind me? Because we're going to bust some ass here. Not physically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I just need to say that on the live.
Hmm.
But maybe something like that, where
Hmm.
it's like anxiously self-centered or something like that, or it's like
Hmm.
humble braggy, or it's just
Hmm.
too much about you. I mean, you are in a
Hmm.
helping position. You're doing childcare. It's not about
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
And I I think the nature of the question, the hit that I get knowing you, is that you seem like you might be a little bit afraid of trusting your own skills at this. I
Hmm.
think you have some real natural talent with kids. Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
you have natural and it's developed as well.
Hmm.
And I think it's going to be healing for
Hmm.
you personally as well. And so I think it probably brings up a little fear. And then your
Hmm.
gremlin goes after the most beautiful bits, like celebrating how well you're doing,
Hmm.
and fucks you over that way, which, by the way, asshole gremlin.
Icky, yeah.
Because even that question is like, oh, like makes me a little sad because I know
Yeah.
how great you are at this and how much you love it and how you do like take it seriously in the ways that you need to.
Hmm.
And then you play in the ways that you need to. Like, not,
Hmm.
I think everybody has the capacity to do it, but I don't think people embrace their talent around being with kids the
Hmm.
way that you do.
Hmm.
So why don't you just enjoy that and enjoy that you found something that you really like and that you're
Hmm.
skilled at,
Yeah.
and just bask in how much that fills your heart up because it's so obvious. You like beam every
Yeah.
time you talk about it.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to say?
Oh, I'm just thinking because I think the thing that was leading me to feel that, which is definitely like some gremlin shitty redirect, is that I was like, he did a bunch of work. He did like 2 days of work and was so proud of himself. And it was like, I know that I helped him do that. And then I was like, oh, like I did it. And I was proud of myself too for helping him. And I didn't want to, it's
Well,
like,
that's no small feat. I mean,
yeah,
are you talking about schoolwork?
schoolwork and like, and helping
Schoolwork
him.
and
Yeah.
a 6-year-old dude, that is huge. This whole homework thing is such a huge mountain of shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then that you could A, get him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
B, get him to do it without bitching the entire time, which is still a win, even if he does bitch the entire time, but
Yeah.
it sounds like he didn't. And
Mm-hmm.
then you got him to proud of himself
Yeah.
by doing something he probably hates, which is really difficult.
Yeah.
And you did it. So I don't see anything yuck in that, Olivia.
Okay.
I see only yum in that.
Okay.
Like
Good.
that is, and by the way, congratulations.
Yeah. And it really,
That's
I like
fucking awesome.
felt like a lot of dad channeling and the like being like, you did this thing. Like, oh my gosh, you did yesterday's work and
Oh.
today's work. Are you kidding? Like, just like that, like raw, like cheerleader thing
Yes.
that he knew how to do so well. And just being, and it's like happening intuitively.
Honey,
Uh,
that is, dude, that is so you as well. It's
yeah.
you are a born cheerleader. When you are like in your Olivia-ness authentically,
Yeah.
cheerleading is like effortless for you, especially with kids.
Mm-hmm.
So make it be as cheerleadery for yourself as you would be with him.
Mm-hmm.
And don't question that, hon.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. Yeah. That is next level, by the way. You're like growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're seeing him in you, like some of the stuff you got from
Mm-hmm.
him. Oh,
He's
that's
so, I'm
beautiful.
really loving it. It's such like a heart healy thing. And to be able to like connect on like a human level of like, he was saying, he was like, oh, like I'm not a confident reader yet, which is,
He's like, what is this little 6-year-old genius? He's
I
going to
think
have a lot of worries.
he absorbs absolutely everything that everyone says around him. Like he's repeating a lot of stuff. I think on the
Got it.
first day, he was talking about how it was going faster when I was there. And so I was like, oh, time flies when you're having fun. And then he said it like 7 times on Wednesday. And he's like, this is
Oh,
going a lot faster today because time flies when you're having fun.
what does that tell you you want to watch for now that we're like
Um,
you're the
I
mentor?
want to watch for like negative talk or like self-deprecation.
Yes. And full on 100% pleaser behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how I was saying I was looking forward to him getting in a conflict with you because that
Yeah, yeah,
meant
yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course you want him to comply. It's for his
Mm-hmm.
own good. But if he's like an anxious pleaser,
Yeah,
then you could probably help him with that.
with that, yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
letting, well, what is your opinion of this? Or like, well, what do you think? Never mind what I think. It's your
Yeah.
drawing or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
like
definitely.
make a move to healthily separate and then validate his experience complete, like regardless of you.
Yeah,
But I mean,
definitely.
I don't know that that's what's going on. I just wanted to ask you the question
Mm-hmm.
so that you would be thinking from
Thinking
the
about it.
teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy how much I'm like, oh, he's like remembering things, like, because in my mind, I'm like, oh,
Sponge.
yeah, like such a sponge, and the little sister too. So it's a privilege to get to be around that,
Yeah,
and
totally.
everything's so new, and they're like, oh, I just want to know everything and have all these cool questions and thinking about how to explain something to somebody who doesn't know and be like, oh,
Yeah.
I get to explain this. Like, how would I want to know if I didn't know what this was?
Yes. Love it.
Yeah.
And just side note, believe it or not, I don't curse in front of children. My rule is 11 and older,
Yeah.
but otherwise, but what made me think of that is they're they're taking in what you're saying so hard, you're gonna
Hmm.
want to be mindful of what you say.
Exactly. I've been saying like,
Mhm.
oh my goodness,
Yeah,
going full Mary Poppins. So I'm really
right.
slowing down because I swear all the fucking time without even realizing.
Exhibit A.
So I'm really, like, okay, I'm gonna slow it down, which is
Chill.
good practice for me anyways. I could stand to like think about what I'm gonna say before I say it more.
All of us. It's true. Yeah.
Well,
Well, that
thank
is
you.
lovely. Yes, keep us posted on that
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
By the way, if people have questions, you can hit that question button in the bottom right, I guess.
Or
I don't
text it to
really know how
me
to. Yeah,
or write it in the chat. But we're
lovely.
here.
Thank you very much. All right, next question.
Okay, cool. So I have another question from a friend. So I think you might have an interesting perspective on this, but so she was just diagnosed with ADHD, and so she was wondering if you had tips to help with like impulse control, because now she's starting to do a bunch of work on that, but has been having a hard time with like acting very quickly on impulses, which
Is she
yeah,
on speed?
no, she's not.
Oh, that's great. Um, in your opinion, here you know my beef with ADHD is that
Hmm.
the speed and the pharmaceutical industry, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
also, but also, not many people know that in order to give an ADHD, ADD diagnoses, you have to do an anxiety disorder rule out, which
Hmm.
nobody does. They just give people speed so that their performance goes up and they get into a good school, blah.
Yeah.
So, how old is this person?
She's my age. She's like 25.
Okay. Okay. So, impulse control certainly can be a behavior that goes with ADHD, and it absolutely is one that goes with anxiety as well as anger. By the way, if
Hmm.
you're stuffing anger, then you might have poor impulse control because it's leaking out, and you're kind of like, there's some part of you that's like, fuck it.
Hmm.
So, I would want to know what the behaviors are. Is that person on here?
No, they're not.
Okay. I would need to know what the impulsive behaviors are and what is prompting them and shit like that.
Hmm.
But how do you, in general, how do you reduce impulsive behaviors? You slow down,
Hmm.
slow everything down. You might want to define what are my values? And then what are the behaviors that match those values?
Hmm.
What are the behaviors that don't match those values that I engage in? And then it becomes a matter of mindful discipline. You just don't give yourself permission to behave in misalignment with your values.
Hmm.
So I'm not even satisfied with that answer because it's so general, but I can't do much more with that.
Yeah.
Um, did you get a DM from that person?
I was talking to them today about it.
And do you get permission from people when you bring the question? Like, did you say,
Yes.
hey,
Yeah. I was
okay,
asking if they had any questions, and she said, like, oh, I could ask something about this.
okay. So you do the follow-up information gathering of
Okay.
like what kinds of impulsive behaviors and
Hmm.
what's instigating it? What are you feeling?
Hmm.
What's the feeling that is driving the impulsive behaviors? Like, that's what I want to know. I don't give a shit what the diagnosis is.
Hmm.
I want to know what the emotion is that
Hmm.
is pushing that person over the edge
Yeah.
into what they are defining as impulsive behavior, which I can only assume is causing some mess and or shame.
Hmm.
Like they don't want to keep engaging in whatever that behavior is my guess.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
maybe get some follow up on that.
Yeah.
We can get into it again.
Okay. I just wrote that. I wrote follow up down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's
Cool.
do one
Okay.
more.
All right. Okay, I have another one for me.
All
Um,
right.
okay, so this one's kind of more of like a vomit, a throw up, as you might say, and we can talk about it. But basically, so my grandma is an interesting lady, and we have
Never
she's
talked about her ever.
never talked about her
Grandma.
ever because we have just like a perfect relationship. But anyways, she was sick. She had COVID. She's better now.
Good.
So which is good. So basically, she freaked out the other day about Ethan, my brother, not calling her when she expected to, but we didn't even know she could talk on the phone yet. And just, so my mom FaceTimes her and is saying, hi, I wanted to see her because I've been worried. And I was excited to see, like, oh, she's well enough to talk on the phone. I said, like, hi. She, like, acknowledged that I was there and then just went in on, like, talking about Ethan. Didn't acknowledge me after the fact, just was talking about Ethan and why he wasn't talking to her and how she expects certain things from some grandkids. And it was so fucking rude. It was so unbelievably rude, but it like hurt my feelings more than I think it normally would because I had been worried. And I was like, I'm not usually excited to talk to her.
Right.
But and then I just felt frustrated. I'm like, this is so fucking like typical and so rude. And so I wrote like annoyance at like familial patterns and like to help let go and laugh at the absurdity of how fucked up that is.
Well, yeah, I'm all the way in absurd camp, and
Yeah.
as well as willfulness.
On
Like
my part.
you, yes.
Yeah.
You were yeah. It's funny because when you were asking the Narcy pride versus celebration question, I wasn't getting ew, and now I'm getting Narcy
Getting
ego
ew.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because and I assume Allie is talking about you with grandma, but I got a backstory here. Which is, this is all the way absurd and fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And honestly, take out the COVID and you'd be laughing.
Yeah.
So your own fucking neurotic freak out about COVID, and I'm not saying all freaking out about COVID is neurotic, but you, to your own admission, you've been doing a little extra on the COVID stress. And fine, whatever. We know that. We've talked about it. The problem is that you got attached to outcome based on your own worry, fear, anxiety. And then you tried to fucking rewrite reality. In what world was she going to gush over you when asking for Ethan?
Yeah.
And yes, and I think you might have gotten maybe a little hit of hurt feelings, but maybe even not. You might have told me this story and we would have died laughing at how rude it is.
Yeah.
Like, you've been past this. I think it's a COVID hiccup that got you this time. And that has ego because it's weirdly not about your grandma. It's about your anxiety. And that makes it narcy. Anxious self-centeredness. But then you have an expectation of her to be different, to be a completely different human being than the one she's always shown you. So you're like, hey, I was worried about you. Be nice today. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. Yeah.
That is a great question, though, because that was very complex. That had a lot of different layers. And that's the kind of thing, too, where if you were to hear my shit out of context, you'd be like, she's a monster. Like my initial reaction, because I know you, isn't, oh, I'm sorry. It's not the validation part. I'm sorry your feelings were hurt, which we normally go to. But I never validate willfulness and fucking narcy ego stuff. I make fun of it. And you have the resilience to go with that and not get butthurt over me making fun of your willful behavior.
Well, because like you validated the fact that it's rude, so it's not like you were like, you're overreact. You know what I mean? Like, which I'm sure someone who doesn't have the rapport and doesn't have the skills would hear that or something because you didn't say like,
Right. Why are you being so mean to your grandma? Oh no, we're way past that.
Like the grandma is the irrelevant part. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
that's what I think too.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there's a little Ethan hint, but again, that's the same as it's always been.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I was just like, oh, fuck, okay. Like, I mean, thinking about it now, it's like, that's so unbelievably rude. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And also, like, of course.
Hilarious. Yes, of course.
Of
It's absolutely
course.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And you know what I think I would do is continue to be excited to say hi to her.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a spiteful, fuck you, I'm gonna, hey, hi, I know you want to talk to Ethan, but here I am, love me up. No,
Consolation.
I mean, not in a spiteful way, but you know,
Yeah.
I think the pro move there is to continue to be you and your excited self that is just generous and big-hearted, regardless of how she's going to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she says, or doesn't say that you even exist, and just wants to talk to Ethan, then just burst out laughing, because that's fucking, it's crazy funny.
Yeah.
Like, who does that? But, you know, families have all kinds of weird fucking roles and shit that seem acceptable, and everybody's just like, God, I wish that person would change, and they're never gonna, and fuck it, you know?
Yeah.
So that was a great question. Really, really. And you took it like such a champ.
I didn't even feel defensive.
I
was just like, okay, let me understand. Because at first I was like, I don't get the Narcy hit.
Right.
But now I get it.
Yeah, because that's complicated. Really complicated. There are a lot of potential hooks over to the, no.
I think maybe that's why I also felt extra annoyed, because I was like playing into it. And so then I was like, there's a part of me that was like, why are we getting worked up about this? Because I was like, that was so fucking rude. I can't believe that I got pissed. And then probably half of that piss was like, oh my God, I fucking fell in the trap. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that has been marked for years. Yes. Black hole. Like, don't go in here.
That's right.
And then I just walk right in because I'm looking at the COVID sign. Like,
totally. Totally.
And so then I'm like, well, if I'm going to be in the hole, I might as well fucking stomp in here. Yes. Like, getting righteously angry about, like, something that happens literally every time I talk to my grandma. So.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so predictable. It's not something to be taken personally. Seriously. It just doesn't fucking matter.
It has nothing to do with me.
It has zero to do with you, hon. And she's missing out on the opportunity to know you. And that's seriously her loss. So nice one. Excellent.
Thanks.
Good job. Yeah, lovely. Thanks. This is one of those, and happens almost every time, but this is particularly one of those where it seems like we could go for another hour. But let's not, let's just keep it on a high note and leave, do the Irish goodbye at the party. People want to see you again.
Leave while it's still fun. Yeah. Love that.
If you have further questions, you can DM or whatever, Olivia, but you can also hit me up at drjjkelly.com. You can text me, the number's there too. And if you want to ask about like working together, we got a lot of different programs swimming around, and my God, when COVID ends, there are going to be even more. Emotions camp. I want to do emotions camp.
So fun.
So bad, dude. Oh my gosh. Do you know what a hug fest is going to be when all of us get, oh my gosh.
Literally in my head, I was just like, I was thinking makeout party, unorthodox, but like not makeout.
Can you not get me sent to jail or my license taken away, please?
I wasn't like not a literal makeout party, but just the idea of just
a
like
love fest. Yeah, love fest. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be so darling, and then all of a sudden I'm going to be like, all right, that's enough.
Get the fuck off me.
Totally. Knock it off, you guys. All right, we love each other. Let's get to work. Fuck.
You guys are always just fucking around.
Why am I having to herd cats again? I'm not your goddamn mom, you guys.
like 1 second from the like, oh, okay.
Right. I'm like, fine, 1 second, and then like, no, at the end. Oh my God, that's so funny. Well,
love it.
It has been a pleasure once again. Thanks. This is
I love
always
it.
fun. I love doing it too. And I will see you in a week then.
See you in a week.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you barfed your problems and feel better.
I know I do.
Yeah, you did. Bye.
Bye.